Let's talk about decluttering the dream version of yourself. So, I am Noelle. We are moving abroad in 6 months from now, packing up, selling everything. And as I'm going through all of our things, it has become so clear to me how many areas of our life we have the best of intentions of showing up as these versions of ourselves. But I also can see patterns so clearly of where I kept thinking that that version of me was going to emerge, but never really did. And so I want to talk about what that looks like. On the other side, as I'm getting rid of everything, what I wish I could go back and tell myself about buying it in the first place. But the second best thing is the freedom to let them go. So, what do I mean by your dream self? That is a version of you that is the perfect party planner. The one who suddenly wears the bold dress with the perfect shoes and goes to the garden parties or hosts the garden parties. The one of you who has the big family dinners, suddenly makes the perfect cupcakes for every event. All of these areas of our lives. Maybe it's the version of you that has the book that anyone may need to borrow at any time. And the reality doesn't match up with these situations. Our lives are busy, they are full. We are constantly transforming and changing. And so sometimes these come from someone we maybe witnessed as we were growing up who did this really well and we wanted to emulate that. And it comes from the best of intentions and the best place in us to honor that and replicate that feeling they gave us in our own life. Other times it may simply be guilty of this, like a bin of clothing that is for when I lose 10 more pounds and can fit into my previous size, or I had clothes from high school that I was someday going to fit into again. Now, my daughter is 25, and I have not fit into those clothes for 25 years. The reality is, even if I fit in them, they probably are not going to fit my body the same. The styles have changed. So I would say 95% of that could have been let go years ago, but at the very minimum needs to be let go now. The other areas could be the perfect china, all of the food prep gadgets and appliances to be able to make every possible food that you can think of at a moment's notice. We watch these infomercials or really great TikToks or shorts and see people using all of these appliances or tools in really great ways. But the reality is that we often only have so much room. And most of these things have been done for generations just using basic tools. And so I'm not against having a rice cooker if that's your thing. But when we have the pizza maker and the rice cooker and the sandwich maker and the pasta maker and all of the add-on appliances for everything, and I know there's 5 million more I'm not even thinking of, there is a reality to that for most of those, a frying pan and a pot will do them. And then pick a couple that you actually use and keep those. Free yourself. There is so much freedom in letting the other ones go. Because what happens is suddenly you have space in your cabinets. If you have a pantry, you walk in and suddenly there's space and a couple of appliances, not things all jammed. I know none of us pictured overflowing shelves with cords hanging down and things that barely get used and guilt that comes with that we paid, whatever amount for them in the first place and we thought we'd use them. None of us pictured that as the ideal. And yet that's what we're living with. And those costs are already gone. It's already been spent. It's already there. The only decision you can make moving forward to kind of fix that situation is to pivot and release yourself from it. Be grateful for the times you got to use them, but if it's not really what you use, then free yourself. So some of the areas that this can be seen most commonly are clothing and jewelry. It's extra bedding and the perfect guest experience when people come to stay with us. For that, ask yourself, do people actually come and stay? And if they do, wonderful. You want to have a great experience. But you probably don't need 7, 8, 9, 10 extra sheet sets, all of the extra stuff. Really look at it and think, how can you have a couple options, simplify it down, make sure it's clean and nice, and let it go. Tools is a big one for men especially, but even for us women, like crafting supplies, art supplies, scrapbooking. I'm an artist. It's my job. And I was able to go through and declutter my art studio drastically several times over the last few years. It is so easy to have pencil drawing stuff and then colored pencil things and then watercolors and then regular acrylics and then craft paints and then paintbrushes for each of those and then carving tools and X-Acto knives and boards to cut on with the X-Acto knives and then canvases and papers and watercolor papers. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And that's not counting the actual products that I had, like my ornaments and the wood for those and the twine for those and the boxes for those and the packaging for those and the shipping, that's one area. And I justified it with my job, so it was legitimate, but I was still able to go through and get rid of most of that as I really got honest about what my art journey looks like going forward, at least for the next bit. As we're selling everything, guess what? All of that is being sold too. I am keeping a simple watercolor set and some charcoal pencils and an eraser. I have drastically simplified in a little drawing book. And granted, if we were staying here, that would look very different. But I still hold true to that there is some simplification that could have happened either way. To just make the hard choices, to not have to have every option available at any moment. It's such an American privileged thing that we get to experience. And not just America, actually, but it's a generational thing. So many of us didn't get to grow up with these options. Our parents grew up with us and then were able to give us some. And now we live in a time where almost anything is available at any time if you want it. That is such a different set of rules than what most of us grew up with. And so it can change, and we need to adjust how we live in this time. We don't want to let ourselves have nothing where we're, panicked and coming from a place of lack. But we also have to recognize, I'm a marketing major. We are marketed to all the time. The techniques that people use to sell us on stuff, that's one of them, to make you want to tune into your dream life. And you want to feel those feelings for your dream life and believe that it's possible. And the reality is only a fraction of the time do we follow through with it. Now, I'm not here to tell you which of those you're going to follow through, but you can do a gut check and really tune in about what those things are that you're actually going to use and what actually you need to let go and free yourself of. Do you have old journals or old books or old magazines? I've talked about the dishes, but it can go on into extra sets of silverware and serving platters and gravy boats. There is so many things that vases and decor and collections that we keep to impress others and to feel like we've made something of ourselves. None of that proves your worth. And people aren't coming to you for your stuff. And if they are, you don't want those people anyways. So free yourself of the things that no longer serve you. And also with that comes the freedom from the pressure you're putting on yourself to live this dream life that doesn't really, if you wanted it, you'd be doing it. And if this is bringing up for you that there actually is things that you really do want, then give yourselves a trial period. In the next 30 days, use that item or let it go. That can be incredibly motivating if you want to have the perfect dinner party and yet life just keeps happening and you never do. Plan the dinner party. Use all of the things. It's the perfect motivation and accountability to have the people over, use all of the things, see what things still didn't get used even when you had people over. Work on the project that you've been wanting to work on. What tools did you actually use that you have, and which things do you still not use? Start to separate them out. Notice if you have 10 scissors sitting there, is there some that you never grab? It may seem like all of these things aren't a big deal, but I promise you they add up. Because in every cabinet or drawer or room of our home or closet, a certain percentage of things could be let go of. And kind of bringing it full circle, as someone who's selling everything and is letting go of everything, it feels so freeing. I underestimated the amount of mental strain and stress that it was taking from me, having like a mental inventory all the time of all of the things. Every time I'd open a cabinet and things felt overwhelming, that's stressful. And a little part of me would feel bad. Now you multiply that times over and over and over, and it just, there was really no reason to put myself through all of that. And then just let's factor in one more part. There is somebody who is hoping to find a quesadilla maker because they really will use it all the time. It may be your child or grandchild. They maybe would love something like that that's just sitting on your shelf. So you could start there. Simply send a text or an email asking about a few of the things you notice you don't use and see if anyone wants them. You could really bring joy to someone who does not have the funds or the bandwidth right now to take that on, but would love it. And coming from you, it might add an extra sentimental connection to them. They may have something that they have that's mediocre, but now having something that's connected to you, they really love that even more and honor it. So our dream lives are important. I am a big dreamer. I am constantly advocating for us really tuning into that. But it's also really important to get honest with ourselves about which of those we've outgrown, which of those have been sold to us that actually don't align, and which of them we just kind of call like BS on that we don't really want to play a part of anymore. They don't fit us. And free yourself. If you have anything you'd like to add to this conversation, I would love to hear it in the comments. I know you have wisdom too, that you have lived through this or seen it and have a story to share. I know it. So I don't have it all figured out, but I do know that from going through all my stuff in the last 6 months, that we have too much stuff and we have too many lives we're trying to live, and it's actually robbing us of our most authentic one. So if this video was helpful, give it a like. I'm so glad you're here, and I look forward to sharing space with you again.